Stories of epic creatures are never hard to find these days. Most fables have bizarre highlights and elements that make it difficult to believe in their reality. You might be thinking right now, if they're that close, why don't we have pictures? We truly do. It's only that we messed them up for another species. Today we are going to have a look at 10 mythical creatures that are real. So, let's get right into it. Number 10. The dire wolf. Dire wolves were a lot of truly yet after overwhelming Ice Age expression of around 100,000 years they passed on, and were absolutely no point ever seen alive in the future. Dire wolves turned out to be generally well known when Game of Thrones hit the standard. These enormous wolves are dependable friends of the Starks in the show, and are demonstrated to be enormous, wise, and defensive animals. They aren't, notwithstanding, simply an illusion of George R.R. Martin's creative mind. Dire wolves lived during the Pleistocene, between 250,000 to around quite a while back. They were bigger than current wolves. However, they could weigh as much as 200 pounds, raised to the power 2 times. Their skulls are much larger than modern wolves. Their cerebrums, on the other hand, are much smaller. In the La Brea tar pits, a number of desperate wolf fossils have been discovered. Researchers believe they were trapped there when they began feeding on the remains of other species trapped in the tar. Number 9. The unicorn. Well, maybe the earliest record of unicorns is by a notable Greek student of history, Ctesias, who portrayed an enormous creature with a horn on its brow in India. It's very conceivable that he saw a rhino in a good time and thought it was a pony with a horn on its head. Is it true or not that they are genuine? They are not what you imagined. Unicorns were not ponies, but rhinoceroses. The Siberian unicorn walked on 4 legs and had a massive horn on its head. The rhino, unlike the unicorn, was larger, more solid, and presumably tougher. In terms of weight, it was 4 tons. The Siberian unicorn lived in Eurasia. Fortunately for the folks who lived nearby at the time, it was a herbivore that preferred chomping down on bushes. It stood 1.8 meters tall and was nearly 4 meters long. Indeed, it does not resemble the ideal unicorn of mythology, but up to this moment, this is the closest thing to an actual unicorn. They were thought to have died out a long time ago, but the discovery of a fossil in Kazakhstan changed everything. A scientific testing examination revealed that the fossil was just 29,000 years old. This means the monster has been roaming the world for almost 321,000 years. Number 8. The Komodo Dragon. Until 1910, when it was found, the Komodo Dragon was thought to be a legendary monster. There's a rumor going around the world that there's an island in Indonesia where 8-foot-long, 100-pound heavy reptiles roam. Lieutenant Stan van Hensbroek traveled to Komodo Island to demonstrate the presence of these monstrous creatures. He had the option of catching and killing a 6-footer, and the bones were sent to Boger's Zoological Museum and Botanical Garden as proof. Unsatisfied with the discovery, American pioneer W. Douglas Burden decided to organize his venture and capture live monsters. And he caught a few dead and 2 live Komodo dragons on his campaign. These were brought to New York City for further analysis and study. Number 7. The Bunny Yip. The Bunny Yip, like the Loch Ness Monster, lives in the water and, despite several sightings, has never been captured. However, the story might have had valid starting points. The Bunny Yip is an Aboriginal legend, according to Australian history, and the animal is said to be a mix between a crocodile and a pony, although sources disagree. Bunny Yips hunt and murders humans while producing a terrifying noise. Number 6. Mermaids. Mermaid stories about a race of half-human, half-fish creatures that live in the water are common among sailors. Surprisingly, despite being misrepresented, a considerable majority of those accounts are real. Mermaids are real. During his most memorable trip to America, Christopher Columbus even sighted 3. He portrayed them as not so exceptionally gorgeous as they were supposed to be, for their appearances had some manly traits. The creatures we call mermaids are manatees, and their closely related cousins, dugongs. Because of their immense size, the 2 species are known as ocean cows. They are the world's largest amphibian herbivores. Because of their unique human and fish-like characteristics, sailors mistook them for mermaids. Number 5. Dragons, winged serpents. Winged serpents are arguably the most well-known mythological beasts. Their appearance varies, but the most well-known portrayals show them with reptile-like bodies, bat-like wings, and pointy claws. In case we forgot, They also breathed fire via their lips. Why do winged serpents have such a skewed picture, and why do countless civilizations validate their existence? It is because the true mythological monsters had various appearances and lived in various parts of the world. Long after they were gone, their remains changed into fossils, which villagers discovered and utilized to depict what they looked like. Some were enormous, while others were not. Some featured sharp claws, while others had bat-like wings and maybe reptile-like bodies. Regardless, none of them breathed fire from their lips. Finally, we don't call them legendary serpents, but rather dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are the origin of the flying serpent fantasy. Many nations, particularly ancient China, where legendary beast stories thrive, created flying serpents in the aftermath of discovering dinosaur remains. Number 4. Roc. Assuming you thought the Hast hawk was scary, the roc is even scarier. It's a supercharged task bird. There are rumors that the roc can lift a fully matured elephant off the ground. In old times, sailors believed that the roc dwelt on an island just off the coast of Africa. In general, the supposed roc is the Aperonis, often known as the elephant bird. It weighed a ton and evolved to be 10 feet tall, making it the largest bird ever to exist. It resided on Madagascar Island, just off the coast of Africa. Due to its lack of flight, the Aperonis could not raise an elephant very high. The next one that lives in the darkness of the deep blue sea is known as Number 3. Sea serpent, the ocean snake. The ocean snake is yet another vicious animal known to watch the waters. It was officially founded in 1772. Sailors told intricate stories about its existence, which became legends. As the name suggests, the creature is a massive fish-snake cross. Although its size and features are exaggerated in stories, it still lives in the oceans. However, it does not feed on humans or fish, but rather on tiny marine organisms such as crabs and plankton. Number 2. Gorilla. While exploring the banks of West Africa between the 5th and 6th centuries, a voyager from Old Carthage named Hanno the Navigator came upon a tribe of bushy and impolite men. Hanno wrote in his reports that the tribe had more men than women, whom he referred to as shaggy ladies and referred to as gorillas. Hanno's party chased the tribe, but they mostly managed to flee. The boys were much faster and mounted the cliffs from whence they threw stones at his group. The girls were getting slower as the gang worked out how to catch three. Despite this, they responded violently, forcing Hanno and his men to slaughter and skin them. He gave their skins back to Carthage. The creatures became legendary since no Westerners saw them again until 1847, when an American teacher named T.S. Savage found them. They weren't humans, but rather primates. To be more specific, these are the primates we now refer to as gorillas. About Hanno's gorilla, Savage dubbed the new creature Ignoramus's gorilla. To be clear, there is some debate about whether Hanno observed gorillas or a different kind of chimpanzees. Regardless, Savage's hermit's gorilla was renamed Gorilla. And here is the last and one of the most super exciting creatures that are Number 1. Yeti. Many people have heard the story of the Yeti, but only a few people in the world claim to have seen one. What is this human-like monster? Is it dangerous? For thousands of years, people have been searching for the Yeti, for any proof of its existence and the origins of this creature. If you're a Yeti fan yourself, you're not going to love what I have to tell you. Nepal and China have always discussed the presence of a large and shaggy 6-foot-tall animal known as the Yeti. The presence of this legendary and treacherous animal may have become widely known in 1921 when a few British climbers claimed to have encountered it while ascending Mount Everest. According to the pioneers, their local guides referred to them as Mato Kangmi, man-bear snowman. Nonetheless, the writer who spoke with the group, Henry Newman, mistranslated Mato as disgusting rather than man-bear. The Yeti is the Himalayan brown and wild bear, two genuine subspecies of bears that live in the Himalayas. Like the Yeti, the two bears are huge, bristly, and brown. DNA tests have demonstrated that the majority of the hair, skin, teeth, fur, and excrement that probably have a place with the Yeti have a place with these bears. That's all for today's videos. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the bell icon to stay tuned for the latest upload. See you guys in the next one.